Hang on. We're live, fellas.
Oh, all right, sweet.
Facebook Live. We are the Nashvillains. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. In
We're
different
all,
locations today.
we're all in separate locations, so we did the show must go on. So we're doing this remotely, and so far so good. Everybody's internet connection is good.
Yep.
We are the Nashvillains. This is
God.
Broke Down Sessions. This is Broke Down Sessions, and normally we play a little music, but because we are in separate locations, that's kind of impossible.
Yeah.
If anybody's written on Zoom, they know what I'm talking about. If anybody's tried to have a meeting on Zoom, they know what I'm talking about. This is Facebook Live, but we are raring to go. How you boys doing?
Good.
I'm
How are
doing
you
well.
doing? It's been a long time, man. It's almost like we didn't see each other yesterday.
Oh, it's not like
Yeah,
that
I
at
like that
all.
song we got yesterday, guys.
Yeah, we wrote a good song yesterday with Bryce Long, who's a hit songwriter. Scott,
He's good.
he's been on our show before. Tell them what some of the stuff he's written.
He wrote. You put me on the spot. I'm not thinking about it right now. Heartache on the Dance Floor. John Party. Pretty wrestle.
Great song.
And Nothing On But the Radio. Gary Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song.
And Cowboy. Remember that Randy Houser song?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, Randy Houser's got an incredible voice.
Man, and just what a good dude. It's so humbling and cool to get in the room with these, amazing writers in Nashville, and just hearing how they flow with the lyrics and just throwing stuff together. And I mean, what an incredible experience that always is with the writers. Girls.
It's great when you know they're that talented, but then when you get to know them and they're really nice too, it pisses me off. It really does.
To be completely honest.
Well, it's so cool we get to call these people friends and hang out with them and kind of hear their stories about how they wrote certain hits and things like that. It's pretty amazing stuff because we're fans too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bryce, if you're listening. Thanks for writing.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, Bryce.
Thank you, Bryce, you son of a bitch. Anyway, hey, so it's my son's first day of school today, and I thought I'd bring that up. If anybody's got like a first day of school story or something interesting to relay in that regard.
Brett?
Not really, man. I mean, my daughter started yesterday. Is that Scott's phone?
There we go again.
Huh?
I think what it is it's when we talk to him. So why don't you let Scott relay his story and maybe that'll stop.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is my daughter started yesterday. Boy, that's loud.
It does good.
Can you mute it for a second, Scott?
Mute it?
Yeah, please, for the love of God.
Until we start the show.
Just mute it for a second. Hey, fixed. What do you know? So, anyways, my daughter started yesterday, and my son doesn't start to the 18th. He's in private school, so they wait a little bit longer before they start.
Ooh, he's in private school.
Yeah, it's very expensive. But worth it. Great school. Anyways, go ahead, Scott. What's your story?
Well, I mean, if the phone will stop crackling.
I'll just run through it.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple. One's in middle school, and the other is the last day, the first day of senior year. But it was actually second day of my 7th grade year. Middle school is a whole different building here, and I was just talking to some girlfriends of mine, and we were just yakking away, and the door was propped open of the bathroom for some reason. I don't know. But back then, even in the boys' bathrooms, it didn't even have doors on the damn stalls. That was really weird. But I'm just yakking away, and the next thing I know, I'm standing in the middle of the girls' bathroom with them. You know, everybody started. Ah, I'm getting the hell out of there. You know. Sideways.
Yeah,
Thought
things turned real quick. It sounds like.
Thought I was in bad trouble. Principal and everybody just, you know, they knew I didn't have any ill intentions. You know, they just laughing. You know, but
well, they didn't know you that well
yeah,
yet.
pretty funny. But last day, first day of my senior year was pretty wild. Actually, wound up at the emergency room twice
In the same day?
in the same day.
How was that?
Well, we all seniors had a water balloon fight at this place called Freeze King that used to be around here, a little restaurant, you know.
Yeah.
And but we done it from moving cars because we were brilliant, you know.
Yeah, that sounds real smart.
So we were in a Jeep, me and some friends of mine, and one of the girls, luckily we had come to a complete stop, and she drew back to throw one of the balloons and fell out. So we wound up over to ER with her, and then she's fine, thank the Lord, you know. But so we go back to school. We go to school, and we got to leave after lunch. Seniors did. So we wind up over at the fairgrounds, and they have a fire tower up there.
Oh my
about 100 feet in there. Yeah. So me and a cousin of mine, a couple of our buddies, we thought it'd be a good idea to climb that thing. So we're going up on steps. We're up our hooping and hollering, and we start coming down the steps. And I'm the last one, and it closes with a trap door. You know? I'm the last one coming down. I'm the last one coming down. I still got my hand up there. Right?
Yeah.
And the trap door closes on this hand. And all that meat in there just popped. So I wound up back at the yard. I had to get like 4 stitches right there. You know.
So the first trip to the ER was a friend of yours, and the second trip to the ER was you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So
I honestly couldn't hear much.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to connect the dots because his connection's terrible. Why don't you back out, Scott, and reconnect, and maybe we can maybe we'll get a better connection.
Yeah.
Bye, Scott. That didn't take long. All right. Well, we have an amazing guest with us all the way from Los Angeles, and we're so excited to have Johnny Wactor. He's an actor there in LA, and I just want to run down some of his credits. He's a producer and known for his roles in The Relic, Siberia, Army Wives, Criminal Minds, USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage, and The Passenger, which I saw. I'm going to ask him about that. He's currently playing his role on General Hospital as Brando Corbin, which I'm sure many of our listeners are familiar with. But I want to.
But wait a minute. His biggest role.
Yeah. Yeah. Most importantly, he was in our video when we were in Los Angeles. He was the lead actor in our video, and is up for a Grammy for that. No, I'm kidding.
No, but he was amazing in that. It was pretty incredible to watch.
No, one other thing I want to mention was he won Best Male Lead Actor in LA Web Fest in 2012. So, and beyond that, he's a boss. He's a hunk, and hopefully the women will agree. But here we go, Johnny Wactor.
Woo!
Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way, Johnny, is I'm sure you've heard this before, and don't stop me if you've heard it. Johnny Wactor, the actor. Come on,
dude!
What the hell?
Been a walking cliche since birth, my friend.
I'm glad.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this story, man. First of all, I appreciate the intro. The 2012 Best Actor Web Fest was a. Where'd you dig that one up from, man?
I got other stuff. I dug up. I'm gonna bring it out.
There's some dirty shit out there, man. But so I got a story about my last name, man. So my first year out in Los Angeles, I'm my first job was waiting tables, and
really?
yeah, can you believe it, in Los Angeles? So an actor trying to make it waiting tables. So I'm waiting tables, man, and I think it's like my first month or so, and waited at this restaurant called Houston's, and it's down in Santa Monica, nice place.
Yeah, that's a good place.
Yeah, great food, man. So I'm probably like my third weekend or so. And this guy, he's sitting down. He came in for lunch, and he's there by himself. And I was taking care of him. And we were talking and stuff. And he's like, oh, so you're an actor? He's like, well, cool. He's like, well, it's toward the end of his meal. He's like, what's your full name? I'll make sure to look out for you. And I said, Johnny Wactor. And he loses it, dude. He's falling out of his chair laughing. And my name's kind of funny, but I haven't had anyone laugh at it since elementary school.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, what? It's not that funny, man. He's like you don't get it. He goes, Johnny Wactor. He's like, you're a waiter and an actor. You're a Wactor.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
That's even better. Yeah.
That is brilliant.
That's pretty good.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard of Houston's, but we have a Houston's here. At least we did for a long time. Is
we have,
or is that a different?
We have Bricktop's, which is actually owned by Houston's.
Well, okay, but it used to be Houston. It used to actually be called Houston's on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So that is the same Houston's chain as because I've heard a lot of I listen to actor podcasts and Hollywood podcasts and all that kind of stuff, and every now and then they'll talk about Houston's, and I've always wondered if that was the same because the one on West End here in town's got great food too.
It's the same, when you work there, you were told not to call it a chain.
Yes, I know. And I hesitated to bring that up, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, it's the same, man. I mean, dude, and it was a great place to work at, and it was, definitely they were super cool and helping me, pay for my bills, and then also, when I needed time off to start working all these student films, trying to build my credit reel and stuff. They were a good place to work.
I kind of think everybody at some point in their life should work at a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant too.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I bust tables and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was,
Yeah, that's been my bread and butter out here for, about a decade pretty much, man.
Yeah.
I never was able to get a restaurant job. It's got to be the easiest job to get.
No.
Now, I say that I only applied to 2 different places, and one place was like for professional. This place called, this place Midtown. Did you ever go there?
Well, it depends on the restaurant you're working at too. If you're working at Hole in the Wall, it's probably easier. But if you're working at like a Houston's, I think there's a little bit more of a skill level, especially as a server.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The only 2 places I ever tried was a place called Midtown Cafe, which is you got to be. I mean, they looked at my resume and are like, "Well, you're not even close to what we need." I'm sorry, buddy, but it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then this other place that I tried to get a gig at was the reason I didn't get hired is because all my friends worked there. And they were like, "We don't need any more of you people."
Johnny, when did you move to LA?
I moved out here September of 2009. So I went to college at Charleston in South Carolina, which is where I'm from. I'm from that area.
Yeah.
And, I took a victory lap. I did 5 years there. And then after I graduated, I saved up some money over the summer, and I moved out there in September of 2009 with my best friend. So
did you study acting in college?
I did not major in it. But I had done plays and done theater since, I was a little tyke. So, I've been doing, I've been acting, for, majority of my life but, it wasn't like something I was like, I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how to make the jump to like try and do it professionally.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I was fortunate. They started filming a show in Charleston called Army Wives, and that was my first time on screen. And I had a small role where I did like they call it 5 and unders. If it, 5 and under is you're basically a co-star, and they give you 5 lines or less.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I booked that, and I booked a couple of those on that show. And I talked to a guy, he was, I think at the time, like 25 or so, 26, and I was like 19. And I knew that I wanted to act. I didn't know how to, do it professionally. And I picked his brain, man. And he was like, yeah, man. It's like, I got a manager and agent, and, they send me out, and if you book, you make money. And I was like,
how did you get your
cool.
SAG card? Because the SAG card's like a chicken before the egg kind of situation.
It is, but in South Carolina, it's a right to work state. So you didn't have to be in a union to work on union television. And at that time, it was also before SAG and AFTRA had merged.
Right.
But then when I moved out to LA, I learned that. And it was kind of the catch-22, especially trying to get an agent. It was like, oh, well, oh, yeah, you're like, you, in order to work and get the paying jobs, you had to be, in SAG. And in order to get those opportunities, you needed an agent. But an agent didn't want to take you on if you didn't already have those. They didn't want to build, a green person. They want someone that's already kind of like ready-made. Let's go, plug them in, sell them.
But can't you get like a certain? Like a lot of people do extra work. If you do a certain number of extra gigs, you get like a voucher eventually or something like that to.
Yeah, you could do. They call it Taft-Hartley.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that works. I did some background stuff. And I thought I did enough to get Taft-Hartley, but I think it kind of is up to the producer whether to Taft-Hartley you. And I guess none of the shows that I was on liked me enough to Taft-Hartley me.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I worked in TV a long time and film a long time in LA, and I never had any idea really how that actually worked.
Yeah, I don't think there's a real blueprint. It's kind of like, if a producer likes you, they can kind of work the system. I think they only get 2 or 3 Taft-Hartleys a project or something like that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did music, so I had no idea how the acting stuff worked.
Yeah, I ended up I think I did enough to where I was SAG eligible, but I stayed SAG eligible for a couple of years because it's expensive to join the union. It's like, I think at the time I joined, it was like $3.5 grand. And, when you're, waiting tables and busting your ass and doing a bunch of non-paid gigs, 3.5 G's is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I finally, I held out until I absolutely had to. I booked a movie called USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage. And so then I was a must join at that point. So I'd worked one thing where, I was allowed, one freebie to work where I didn't have to join, but the next project I'd have to join the union. And so that one I did. And luckily enough, I had to call in. I think I had to borrow money from my manager, and I think I might have borrowed money from my mom to pay it. But then I was able to, once I made money from the movie, I was able to pay them back. So.
Wow. So now you're doing General Hospital as well, right? That's
hell yeah.
That show's been on for a long time. I think my great grandfather watched that show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been on a long time, man.
I think Johnny, how long have you been doing that?
Man, so dude, so when I shot the music video with you guys, I had shot about 2 or 3 episodes of General Hospital.
Yeah,
or maybe a little more, maybe 5.
Yeah,
but it was new. The show's been running for about 58 years. I think it's the longest running show on television.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly used to watch it when I was a kid. I mean, I used to hang out with my my aunt, who's actually the same age as I am, and she liked it, and she got me kind of into it. The whole Luke and Laura thing.
Oh yeah, dude, that's the most famous couple, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody knows them, dude.
Well,
but yeah, I mean,
I'm curious, like how the soap operas work. I've written music for soap operas, but I've never. Again, the acting thing, I have no idea. Like, do they present you scripts? How early do you get the script before you go on the show?
Man, dude, it's warp speed.
Yeah, I bet.
I got my script, so I'm shooting Thursday and Friday. I haven't got my Friday script yet. I got my script for my Thursday script yesterday, 42 pages.
Wow.
I'm not in all 42.
Sure.
I'm in probably about. I mean, we shoot over 100 pages a day. Like, so we're shooting more than an episode a day. And then the most pages I've shot in a day or seen, pages that I've been in is 80.
Yeah.
And then the most amount of dialogue I've had in one day is probably like 35 or 40 pages.
Now
Wow.
that's not in front of a studio audience, is it?
It's not in front of a studio audience. It is on a studio. Everything is shot in house, so which enables us to shoot so quickly. But how we can shoot 100 pages a day, we don't have to pick up and move different locations. Everything is on us. There's multiple sets on the stage, 4 cameras on wheels. They can roll. So we shoot everything in the Metro Court Hotel. All right, let's roll over to Brando Corbin's garage. So I mean, it ain't like, oh, we got to take 20, 30 minutes to reset for this same scene. It's like that. And we only get one take. So
I was going to ask you how many takes.
Wow. That's crazy.
One take, dude.
Wow.
Well, that can't be right. I mean, what if you can't get it in one take? What if people forget their lines?
Well, then they go until you can get it. But if that becomes an issue, then you're going to get replaced or your character's bye-bye.
Yeah,
I see.
They kill you out to get in a car wreck and stuff.
It's bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like if you're a cornerback and they put you out on a receiver, and it's like, well, what if you can't guard the receiver? Well, then you get fucking fired. Then you don't got a job anymore.
Yeah. People die every day, Brando. I'm so sorry.
I'm kind of curious because people like love soap operas and soap opera stars. So like, do you have like some super fans that kind of follow you on social media? And I'm sure you've got some like I said, super fans that kind of.
Yeah, I do, man. It's pretty wild, man. I was, the first time I was on like a big character on a TV show was Siberia, and we developed kind of a cult following there, and that was kind of my first taste of like fandom and social media, which is a really kind of interesting realm, because you get direct interaction with your fans, and then then being on General Hospital, General Hospital's got such a large following, you then coming onto the show, it's a new character, and you become like, integrated into the storyline as like a regular. Then you get some more fan following, and through that, I've definitely got a few super fans, I would call them, that they make digital art and stuff with me in there, T-shirts.
Yeah.
They've sent some stuff to the studio, which I haven't got. One of the packages went missing, but yeah, man. I mean, there's some diehards out there, dude. Like if I was going to war, I'm gonna call up Daniela.
I think a lot of it too. I mean, from my experience with music for soap operas, a lot of it's international as well. I mean, I'm sure you have that as well, right? A lot of international fans, and that are following up on you.
Yeah, there's a fair amount that I've seen. I've actually got probably more. I've had more international fans from Siberia. I'm not sure why. I think maybe just because they sold it at international markets after our season.
Yeah.
But like that show is showing now for the first time in some countries, and I got people. I mean, I've had people for 8 years asking me when season 2 is coming out on that, and I'm like, hate to break it to you guys, I don't know if that's going to be ever happening. But
wow.
But yeah, I mean the fandom here in the States for GH it's huge, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
People they care about their storylines, they care about these characters, and so I mean it's a great service, to come onto a show like where you got this many people that watch it and that care so deeply about the integrity of the show and the storylines, where like I owe them a service to show up and do my best every day, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the fans are everything. Hey, boss lady wants to say hi.
What's up? Why don't you come on the video? What's this little?
We don't let her on the social media. She just likes to comment.
That's
That's
good to
just
see.
for. That's
Good to
just
hear
for
from you,
safety
Karen.
reasons. Yeah, we don't know what she's gonna say.
So Johnny, is there somebody that like you want to work with as far as an actor that you'd love to? I mean, like who do you look up to as an actor?
Man, I mean, there's so many good ones, man. I don't know. I've gotten to work with some really, really talented people that I never thought that I would, get to work with. Like one of my shows was favorite shows was Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah,
I got to work with Aaron Paul on Westworld, and it was not one of my best performances, but it was a really lasting experience, and I learned a lot on that show.
great show, by the way. Westworld was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that they've had 3 seasons, and it's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
And then I got to work with Bill Paxton too before he passed.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, I've watched him since Weird Science.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been in everything, man. So I've gotten to work with a lot of cool people, but as far as like people that like I look up to that I really would love to work with, man, it's Gary Oldman. I would love to work with Denzel Washington. Would love to work with. And I guess I'm just talking about men right now because those are guys that I see that I've always watched and like been like, man, I would like to be in these roles.
Sure.
Those guys, and then also Ryan Reynolds, just because I think I would get along with him and jive. I love his sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fun.
Well, you work with the Nashvillains, so I mean, it's all downhill from there, right?
It's all uphill from here, baby.
Yeah.
Well, here's a response.
So I haven't got to talk to you much, Johnny, but good to see you, brother. I told you sometimes.
You too, man.
Difficulties back in the boonies in Kentucky, So,
what's that?
I told you sometimes I have technical difficulties way out here in the boonies in Kentucky. So, if I have any more and I don't get to speak much, man, we'll catch up later, okay?
We will. I mean, dude, we've been texting back and forth, past year and a half. So.
Oh yeah, well, that's our resident social butterfly.
And eye candy.
Yeah.
And eye candy.
Well, that's self-reported. Hey Scott, toggle your mute. There we go. Hey, I found something on one of the soap opera websites I wanted to bring up because it was so fun. So it said you can do the human flag.
Yeah.
Can you still do that?
Wait, what is that?
Fuck yeah.
Is that when you can hold the pole?
All right. Sorry to offend.
How
Dude,
dare you?
Is that when you can hold the pole sideways?
Yeah, you hold a pole this way, and then
Wow.
I can hold my body parallel to the ground.
That's amazing, man.
You weren't ever a gymnast of any kind, were you?
No, I was a swimmer. That was my sport growing up, man. So I think I just kind of had strong shoulders and strong core, and so
Yeah.
I saw it I saw it one day like on just watching a YouTube video, and I was like, I'm gonna try that, and I just tried it on this fence, and I was able to do it.
That's awesome.
So what was your event in swimming? I was a swimmer. That was my
no shit.
Yeah.
Sprint freestyle, and then 100 fly, 100 breast, and 2 IM.
Okay, cool.
Pretty much anything but backstroke.
Do you remember I was anything but breaststroke.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember your times and all that stuff, like for 100 free, 50 free?
Yeah. So 50 free, I was a 21.5.
Wow.
100 free, I was a 46.8, I think. And then, this is yards, not meters, of course. 100 fly, I think I was a 51 low. Breaststroke, I was a 58 high. 2 IM, I was like 155 or something.
Did you go to college on that?
I went on some recruiting trips because that was my route for a while. I was like, this could help me get into school, and then I stayed in state and decided not to swim because I was like, I'm not going to be a professional swimmer or make the Olympic teams. I swam against Michael Phelps. And
No.
I was like 15.
Man.
Yeah, he whipped my ass. I mean, but like that was like I was 15 and I was getting into girls and kind of almost maybe kind of getting into partying, and I was like, I like girls more than competing right now, especially against this freaking albatross, standing next to me.
Yeah, right.
And
Oh,
just
man.
really kind of decimated any type of real dreams that I had of becoming a
Yeah,
professional
I
swimmer.
had the same thing, man. I was gonna compete in Texas because I went to college in Texas. I was
no
in
shit.
Colorado, and I went out there, and man, they were so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and you have to just live that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
your life in college. I was like, nah, I want to play guitar. I want to play in bands, and I'd rather chase girls, that kind of stuff, and study. So that was really a little bit of that. But it's true, man. I mean, those guys that compete at the college level, like they just live that. I lived with some football players too at SMU, and same thing, man. Like those guys they were all football all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
well, anytime you compete at a high level, it's you do it all the time. I mean, that goes with music too. I mean, there was a year period where I did not have a guitar not in my hand.
Right.
I was learning how to play guitar, and that's how I learned how to play it. I never put it down unless I just had to. I had to go to class or something.
Dude, I think that's kind of a universal truth for anything that you want to be elite at, and really be successful and compete among the best. Whether that's in athletics or the arts or anything you want to make into a career. Like the more successful, the loftier your ideals and dreams are. It's like you got to live that shit.
I think what Brett was getting at is that to be physically peak. Now that is something different. I mean, it's one thing to learn how to play guitar. It's another thing to be physically peak, and the dedication it takes to do that is extremely impressive.
I would argue it's the same with becoming that proficient at guitar or singing or anything really, man. Like I think you can have some natural advantages or maybe a leg up or talent or something.
Yeah, but I can have as many hamburgers as I want as I'm learning how to play guitar.
Yeah,
but if your fingers get too fat, then you won't be able to be so delicate with those.
Yeah,
fingers.
man, John.
Yeah, I'll just
John, you ought to see
I'll just start learning to slide.
You ought to see Troy try the human flag, man.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Speaking of, how about? Oh wait, yeah, there we go.
I like that.
The flagpole. Well, there you go, bud.
Yeah.
So, you know what we'll do? We'll do a Photoshop where you're on the pole and then I'll be holding your feet. We can Photoshop me out of it.
There you go.
That's about the only way it's going to happen, brother.
That's the only way it's going to happen. Yeah. Hey, I want to mention this. I thought this was funny. He can walk on his hands and partakes in fishing, hunting, running, and most of the sports.
Southern boy, man. Of course.
What the hell? What is most of the sports?
I don't know, man. I mean, just that's like, you put on your resume, it's like I just write down what I can do, man. You know?
Well, that was written by somebody at that soap opera thing. I just thought it was funny that they didn't say and most other sports. It was most of the sports.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a direct quote.
The sports are.
I don't know if that's a direct quote from something I said.
No, it's not.
Most of the sports
the
I
other
can
thing
do.
was, fake French. It said you can do fake French.
Oui, j'étais là-dessus, la construction de la frontière de Montpellier, la possibilité c'est de fonder vers la Bissignon et c'est Pichotel.
Yeah.
So what's fake about it?
Everything with the exception of about 3 words.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of articles. I took French in high school. There's a lot of V's and A's in that.
Yeah.
And not a lot of subjects.
You're kind of mumbling an accent for the most part.
Exactly, dude. That's the key, man. That's the key. Do a little mumble. Just be confident. Like, yeah, this is fucking French, I'm saying.
Well, what made you do that? I mean, why is that on the internet somewhere? What did you start doing that?
Dude, I was out with some friends at a bar one night, and I was the only person in the group that couldn't speak a second language. Yeah. Everyone else, we had Spanish, Russian, and Mandarin. And, I could speak a little bit of Spanish, but not fluently. So I was like speaking fake French, and I was just going up to girls and, speaking fake French, acting like I was this French dude.
Yeah.
It worked.
That was my next question. If it worked,
It did. It
Yeah.
did. I let
awesome.
them know later. I was like, by the way, I'm completely bullshitting you.
yeah. At what point did you let them know?
After they were already intrigued.
Yeah. Crazy. So what's coming up next for you? Like what's on the horizon for you?
Hey guys, one thing I think this is Scott. Scott got off because he couldn't, and now he's posting as a Nashvillean.
As a fan,
Yeah, he goes, "I'll just comment on this way."
I like it.
Isn't that awesome?
That's great. That's smart.
Yeah.
He's got a can-do attitude.
It is Scott.
Scott.
I like
So what's
that.
next? What's next for you, Johnny?
Man, I think General Hospital. I'm filming that twice this week, and that's just that's my ongoing thing. Fortunate for
Let me
that.
ask you this: because it's they don't the soap opera people. I don't even know what to call them. The production companies that do the soap operas, they don't require you to be exclusive, so you can still do right. Like I know TV shows will like exclusivize you and keep you from auditioning for like a year or whatnot.
Can you not do other soap operas?
So I can't do other soap operas. That's a definite.
Right, but you still can go
am,
on movie and TV auditions.
What's that?
You can still go on movie and TV auditions.
It depends. I can't speak. I don't think I'm allowed to speak specifically about my contract, what I can and can't do.
Right.
But I definitely am limited.
Okay.
I can't. Obviously, don't want to do something competing. With General Hospital. They do give me some freedoms where I'm able to shoot some things if it works out timing wise. Like I was able to shoot a small bit in a film called Supercell, which is a movie that my friend and I I won't say my friend and I don't want to take too much credit, but I went storm chasing with one of my good friends a couple of years ago and helped him develop this project.
Was it a reality show?
No, it's a movie that's about storm chasing.
Cool.
Got Alec Baldwin, Skeet Ulrich, and Anne Heche in it.
Skeet Ulrich?
Daniel Diemer.
I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah, dude. He's good in it too, man. He's back, baby.
He was the poor man's Johnny Depp for a while. Wasn't he? Was he not? Am I the only one that thought that?
That was a moniker that I think he carried.
I'm sure he loves it. I'm glad that I put you on the spot with that.
So Johnny, who's your doppelganger, man? Because a lot of times actors in Hollywood have got somebody they're always competing against at the auditions. Was one actor that they're always kind of going after the same stuff for.
Yeah, I guess my doppelgangers are more famous than me, so I don't really get to compete against them. But like Ryan Felipe was one that I used to get a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
What's that singer's name? I used to get Dierks Bentley.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
If there's a biopic, you should definitely be up for that.
I'll have to. If you guys know him, tell him to fucking write that shit. So I got your actor. No, man. As far as guys that I compete against, I had a couple buddies. But if I mention their names, I don't think they're big enough to where you guys would recognize their names. But yeah. But doppelgangers, those are the guys that I usually got.
So what about music? Are you musically inclined? Do you play guitar? What music are you into?
I wish that I was musically inclined. I do sing in the shower.
Cool.
I do like to sing. I like to dance, and I like to go to live shows and boogie. But as far as being able to play an instrument, I was not blessed with that ability, and that was not something that was really kind of introduced to me, or that I was really interested in when I was younger. Growing up, I was more kind of into sports and into drawing. I loved visual arts, drawing and painting,
Cool. What's your medium for painting? Is it more like acrylic or is it like airbrush? Or
Back in the day, it was water and oil, but I mostly like pencil sketching.
Cool.
And I don't do so much anymore. That was something I loved doing. And then I went to a theater school when I was in middle school, and I kind of just fell in love with, acting and being on stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I always wanted to be able to play an instrument. And my best friend, he picked up guitar in college, and then we lived together out here in LA. And, he taught me a few things like free falling on guitar. I could play that terribly, but I could eke my way through it. But I love percussion instruments. I love the drums, and I love the piano, and I love the harmonica. I know that's not a percussive instrument, but those were my top three that I was like, man, I wish I would have learned how to play those. And I've got a harmonica actually right here. Not good at it.
Harmonica is not easy, man.
Hell no, it's not, dude.
Tough.
I can't play harmonica. I've had a couple of them. I just ended up tossing them.
I thought, and we should be good, man. We were swimmers. We got the lungs. We should be able to blow the thing out.
Yeah, true.
When did you guys, fall in love with music and figure that was, like, this is the path I want to go?
Man, I've kind of always done it. But honestly, I was playing piano, competing in piano as a kid, and I played saxophone. And I always wanted to play guitar. And I ended up, in order to get my guitar, that's when I bust tables. I bust tables in high school to be able to afford a guitar. And I went to a pawn shop in Denver and bought a Fender Strat. That's so I've kind of always been into music and always been into different genres of music and writing music. And, I've always loved it.
But you started out with the sax. How was that the choice?
That's one of those things in elementary school. They go around and say, "What instrument do you want?" I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
And they're like, "How about alto sax?" I'm like, I don't know what that is. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. At elementary and middle school, they don't give you an electric guitar.
Yeah.
You got to choose a band instrument. I played French horn.
Yeah. But then my parents wanted to get me into piano, so I ended up getting into piano, and I played a lot of classical. I competed in classical piano. And I absolutely hated it. And, because I always wanted to play Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and, Billy Joel, Elton John. That's all the stuff that I loved. And I had this amazing teacher, but she was this old lady, and she was all about, no, he's going to be classical. So it kind of turned me off from it a little bit, Now I wish I had kind of kept those skills up a little bit more. But I was always into rock and pop and stuff like that. So,
How about you, Troy?
Oh, yeah, I'm like Brad. I've always done it. I've never done anything else. I did do some acting when I was younger. I was in a theater troupe when I was in middle school through the first part of high school. And so I've done some like musical theater and stuff like that. It was a pretty big deal when I was in Houston. It's called Houston International Theater School. And, we performed for the mayor, and we went to New York for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it was a lot of freaking fun. But there was one I was never, and I did some auditioning there in town, but I was never very good at acting. One of the things that I found out about acting that's so difficult is the authenticity. I don't know how to say a line like it's coming out of my head, or that it's coming out of my heart and not something I've memorized. I just don't. I don't know how you guys do that.
I would think it'd be like singing, Troy. You're kind of doing that when you're singing.
And that's the closest thing.
Yeah, you take on a character.
That is true, and that's probably the closest I can get to acting. But it's all wrapped around performance of notes. It's not. I'm not being me. When you're an actor, at least in my limited knowledge of it, there's so much vulnerability that you have to adjust to, and you got to be willing to look like an absolute idiot sometimes. You know what I mean? Be completely vulnerable for the camera, and I that's really difficult to do.
Well, isn't it? Johnny, isn't it the confidence? I would say the same thing about singers, Troy. It's like you have to have the confidence as a singer to go out there. Otherwise, people might think you look like an idiot as a vocalist.
Right. Well,
if you believe what you're saying, and
that's the difference. I mean, I grew up. I was born singing. I started singing when I was 5. It was just something I did. I just did it. Acting is, you got to, it was never. It was something I had to learn. And I remember one time I did what was it? Oh shoot! When you make stuff up,
improv.
Improv. There was this show that was in Houston that they were auditioning for, and they gave you a scene, and you had to act it out with no script. And I was terrible. I was terrible. It was so embarrassing.
Improv's hard, dude.
Improv is extremely hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah. But my son's an actor, and he's working his butt off trying to get into the business too. He's 15, so
yeah. I met him.
Yes, he video shoot. Absolutely.
Yeah. He was out here. Yeah.
Johnny, Jacqueline says your doppelganger is also Chris Pratt. I can see that.
Oh, you know what? I think Chris Pratt and I think have probably a similar personality. I think we're both jokesters, and
there's a bit of Star Lord in there, right?
We're mischievous, yeah. I'll take his roles, man.
Yeah,
he needs a break, man. He's working too hard, anyways.
That guy's killing it.
But dude, I want to say I agree. I think that singing, whether they're words that you wrote or words that someone else wrote, it's like there is a huge element of vulnerability up there. You're singing something, whether it's in the studio or live on stage to a crowd, people are going to listen to it, whether it's live or recorded. And, and these words, whether you wrote them or someone else did, you still, like I've said things that I've written down and it doesn't feel like I fucking wrote them. Doesn't feel like mine, right? But sometimes it's, it's like, oh, you have to remind yourself, you have to make those words mean something to you. Yeah. And if they mean something to you and you believe in them and you believe that's the reality, that's how it comes out, is like, kind of effortless and seems authentic, But if you don't, if those words don't mean something to you, then, especially like on camera, or even if someone's just listening to a song, you're like, you can hear it if someone's just belting out tunes and like, there's no soul in it. Right. Same thing with acting. We can see, the seams of acting if those words don't mean something to you.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, Johnny, we're going to wrap this up. You have been an amazing guest. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, man.
We'll have to do it again because Johnny. I've got all kinds of questions. But maybe we'll talk, off air.
Well, it'd be cool too, Johnny. Once the video is released, which is going to be very soon, it's going to be our next release. And once that's out, if we can have you back, that might be kind of a cool thing.
I would love that, man. Talk about the video too. And dude, guys, honestly, this is one of the most fucking fun interviews that if not the most fun one I've had, man.
Awesome.
I love that's fun.
It feels like we're just like hanging out, dude, and cracking jokes, man. So anytime you guys, want to invite me, I'd be happy to come back.
That'd be great. Yeah, I want you to show our audience your LA drink. Your Hollywood drink. I want to see your Hollywood drink.
Would you say it was cucumber?
Oh my God! Tell them what it is.
So this is Ardor. It's a cucumber mint sparkling water with L-theanine, electrolytes, and caffeine. I don't even know what L-theanine is.
That's what that is. That is some bullshit.
You've been Californianized, man. You've been Californianized.
It's an energy drink that's not gonna rip apart my insides.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Like this will.
Yeah. Brett's drinking like jet fuel over there, dude.
Yeah, straight chemicals.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, we expect a human flag next time.
Hey, we'll do the interview. I'll do the interview outside so I can show you guys.
Johnny, take it easy, man. Thank you so much for doing
fellas.
this.
Thank you, man.
Good chat with y'all.
All right.
See you, brother.
See you, Johnny.
Well, that was awesome.
That was fun, man. He's great, man.
I'm sorry that you were in and out, man.
Sounds like aliens, Scott. It's all good, man.
It's become I mean, it's just a thing. When I'm in Kentucky, when I'm home, it's just a thing. I don't
It's
get it.
kind of become your
It really
sound,
pisses
man.
me off.
It's like your moniker.
Huh?
It's
Yeah.
kind of become your
I
sound.
know, man. It's yeah. It's
It ain't right.
it drives
It
me
ain't
up to
right.
the
I tell
wall.
you.
It's all good, man. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
Hey,
man.
guys,
It's
that was fun.
We have been the
yeah.
Nashvillains. Those of you that joined us, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, that was
See
fun.
ya.
See y'all.
Bye.